Taking our second presentation, and this will be done by the lead coordinator of the Ghana Catholic Bishops Conference Laudato Si Action Plan, in the person of Very Reverend Father Edwin Terence Kwame Ajima, Director, Center for Human Development at the National Catholic Secretariat. Shall we welcome him with a hand of applause?
I want to talk freely. I listened to Father Christopher Vojogba this morning, the Director for Religious Education and Catechesis, and I hope all of you carefully listen to him. It was so beautiful the way he connected the day's liturgy with calling all of us to be not only aware of protecting the environment, but our concern as individuals, as groups, as a church, to protect our environment. And it is a singular call from Pope Francis. From Assistant Secretary General's presentations this morning up to this time, one thing I deduced from it, and I think you may have deduced a lot of things for yourself, is how to get involved, and not stay aloof about the concern for the environment, and implementing that or mainstreaming that in our liturgical celebration and making it aware, and making people aware, increasingly aware, especially priests and catechists, you who are here, how we can also teach our constituencies, our parishioners, the catechumens, to begin to understand and appreciate and live this concern for the environment. I present to you my presentation of being in this form to tell you a little bit about the Ecological by Pope Francis, the call on Episcopal conferences across the world as to lay out concrete action plans to protecting the environment. And then I'll zero in on the projects, on the goal 6 of the Laudato Si Action Plan of the Catholic Bishops Conference, and also a universal call by Pope Francis on goal 6, and then we will treat that into detail. But I want to give you a hint that these things we are listening to, you put them into practice and tell us how you are going to deal with each of the indicators as I will be telling you as we go on. And the head of Department of Pastoral Ministry and Evangelization, the Director for Religious Education and Catechesis, will be assisting you, catechists and priests, commissioners, to begin to appreciate and also to understand and also to implement or mainstream these concerns as you go back to your various dioceses. We shall also provide you with virtual platform by which we can interact with you, and we'll be asking you questions and you'll be sending your feedbacks to us. Now, pick your Laudato Si action programs, and I want them to be on your ties. And also the summary of the project, because I'll be referring to this document and asking some of you to read certain aspects to me, or to all of us. So Laudato Si Action Program of the Ghana Catholic Bishops' Conference, your chief shepherds. This second slide explains the dicastery for promoting integral human development. You know this dicastery very well, established to coordinate all efforts in favor of integral human development. And our own cardinal was once the prefect of this, but he has moved to the social and then the physical sciences. This platform has been created by that department to coordinate all efforts of Episcopal conferences across the world and other organizations, so that what we are doing over here, there will be a time that we'll be writing articles and putting the little efforts that we are doing on behalf of the conference, and that is where we are going to put it. It is a link to the dicastery. There are so many people registered onto this. I think all dioceses are across the world, and groups and organizations. What and why the Laudato Si? What and why the Laudato Si? Please do not worry about your pen to write anything down, unless something strikes you and then you may not like to forget. You want to put down your paper, because all these things, including the presentation you have been having today, will be put on your platforms and you have access to them. So don't worry so much burying your head in writing than listening. So rather listen. If something strikes you, you want to put down, you can put down. Now, in May 2015, Pope Francis promulgated the Laudato Si encyclical called Laudato Si, which means praise be to you, my Lord. Praise be to you, my Lord. And he subtitled this document as Care for Our Common Home. And then he means the earth, the environment, the universe in which we live. And he did that in 2015. And 2021, he celebrated anniversary, the 5th anniversary of this encyclical. And he's celebrating that he wanted more action to be carried out. And why should he be doing that? He looks into the whole world, our universe. The distraction the Secretary General, the Assistant Secretary General has been talking about. It's not only money. Those of you who come from mining areas, you are overwhelmed by mining. Those of us who also come from other areas, you know, the charcoal burning, the bushfires, the land grabbing, the sand winning, and all of that. This is a distraction for the environment. But I bet you, as my friend said here, it is a very, very lucrative economic venture for most of us, especially the poor. Those engaged in the charcoal, will you tell them to stop? Will you tell them to stop? Will you preach from the pulpit and tell them to stop? So what are you giving them? Because that's their livelihood. So we have to teach them how to do these things responsibly. So money, it has to be done. Because I was watching a news file, and then I got to know that what we call Galamsey today started way before in pre-colonial era, through to colonial era, up to today. It has been with us. Maybe it is much more pronounced today. That is why we become overwhelmed. But it has been there. It has been there, and it will always be with us. It will always be with us. But how responsibly can we do these things in order to protect the environment? The sand winning, the land grabbing, the mining, the felling of trees, and so on and so forth. Slash and burn. And the way we farm, we cut the trees down and burn them, and we never plant anything back. You see? So these are all with us, and it will be with us. So do not become overwhelmed, but let us rather think about a better way of managing these things. And one way we can do this, the church has a bigger forum, a bigger platform. That is why you are here as leaders of the church. So that as you go, teach people how to do this things responsibly. Don't tell them to stop, because they cannot stop. But how can they do it to protect the environment, or to do it wisely and also prudently? So having celebrated the 5th anniversary, the Pope laid out a 7-year action plan. And in this action plan, he himself has given 7 goals, 7 universal goals himself. And he has given all these goals to Episcopal conferences across the world to customize these 7 universal goals, how it applies to your context. You see, in regions in Ghana, we have various things that we do to damage the environment. So mining is not in my part, because there is no mineral. if there are minerals in the Volta region, they have not started mining anything there. So it is, for us, it's about bush burning, land grabbing, and felling of trees. And in other areas, it might be something else, charcoal burning and all those things. But how do we teach our people to manage those things? And then in that year, 2021, the Ghana government launched a program. They call it Green Ghana Project, by the government of Ghana, calling on all Ghanaians to plant 10 million trees every year. I hope you have heard of that, and you'll be part of that. Did you hear that? Let me see by hand, those who at least heard it. At least heard it. Okay, you have all heard it. Okay. So calling on all Ghanaians to do something about the environment, to plant more trees and protect them, not only to plant, but to grow the trees, care for them, so that they grow and provide shelter. Now we are calling for economic trees, not just planting any trees, but economic trees that will feed us, will feed the earth, and will feed animals and birds. So that very year, the Catholic Bishops' Conference also got together and issued a statement calling on the church and pledging that every year we shall also plant 1 million trees. Are you aware of that? Sure. Yes, I like that word. Sure. Sure. It means that you are really doing it. And you say that in your parishes and churches, the youth at least have taken up this project, and they are doing so well, planting trees around the parish houses, diocesan lands, and so on and so forth. And so that very year, the conference also put together a committee, because they cannot just be issuing papers, statements, but practical actions. So that committee is put together to develop an action plan. That is what you have in your hand there. The Laudato Si action program of the Ghana Catholic Bishops' Conference. And it's done by a committee put in place by the Ghana Catholic Bishops' Conference. So these are the members of the Laudato Si Action Program Committee. These are the members. We have Episcopal promoter or liaison. On every committee, we have a bishop representing the Bishops' Conference. And for now, it is Metropolitan Archbishop of Cape Coast, Most Reverend Gabriel Palmer Buckle, and he is the Episcopal promoter now. And then we have the Secretary General as the chairman, assisted by the Assistant Secretary General. And then the other members are the Executive Secretary, Department of Human Development. I hope you can all see from wherever you are sitting. And then we have Executive Secretary, Social Communication, Father Giordano, and National Coordinator, Laity, Francis Atta, you know him, the Laity. And then General Secretary, Gansek, Dennis, is in town now. He came with us, but yes, we have a challenge, so he's dealing with that challenge in town. Then the General Manager of Catholic Education, the Director, Governance, Justice and Peace, and also the Director, Center for Human Development. And in the wisdom of the management of NCS, they are asking me they have asked me to lead the advocacy of the Laudato Si Action Program. This Laudato Si Action Program you have on your ties is a pastorally oriented strategy plan which the Catholic Church in Ghana will be pursuing for the next couple of years. It has everything you have to do or we are doing about projects. You can find everything in there. Now, the objectives are outlined there. Dennis, are you there? Asari? Father Asari. So, look for the word sustain. It is one of the objectives. Read that. And anybody, any volunteer can read. As I mentioned, just read what we mean by sustain. What do we mean by sustain as our objective? Yes. No, further seats. Then we are not in a classroom here. We are in adult class here. Yes. What do we mean by sustain?
Sustain the annual tree planting agenda of the Ghana Catholic.
That is what we mean, okay? So sustain is to sustain what the Bishops' Conference are saying that we should do every year. So every year we plant, I think we do it around June. June, that is the upper week too. And then we make sure that we plant 1 million trees. And 1 million, I don't know how many are surviving now. Those that we planted last year, I don't know. You know, we ask the youth to have a way of getting the feedback of the number of trees surviving. Because at the end of the year, we want to know, out of the 1 million trees planted, how many are surviving, how many are growing, and producing fruit and all that. So two, the second one, replicate. What do we mean by replicate?
Replicate and model in Ghana the 7-year Laudato Si action.
Thank you, Father. That is the call of Pope Francis. The 7 universal goals that he has given to us, that we must, all Episcopal conferences, you who are here, I talking with you, and all of us, to appropriate that as our agenda and do something about it. And that is what the Laudato Si Action Program on your ties is saying. So what concretely we are doing as a church in Ghana, they are all in there. So look at them and begin to do something. And then the third one, promote.
Promote the culture of pastoral planning. Local churches in Ghana which is inspired by the spirit of Laudato Si.
Yes, I know very well. In whole diocese, we have a good strategic plan. Promulgated in 2018 to 2028, when Bishop Fiano took over the mantle of the diocese. So we have that strategic plan, and that's what we follow. I don't know whether it obtains in other dioceses too. I'm sure some other dioceses too have the strategic plans, or you may have your synod, the assistant synod, of which you have your acta promulgated. Some go by the acta, but it's similar to the strategic plan anyway. Then establish. What do you mean by to establish?
Establish an effective program management infrastructure within the national.
So That is the committee members I showed to you. So we have a structure headed by the Secretary General and then also supported by the Episcopal promoter. And that is where what we are doing here is happening. So we carry on advocacy, we get information from the dioceses and parishes, we coordinate, and then we look for funding to do. Like what we are doing now is being funded by the U.S. Conference of Catholic Bishops. They are funding this program, and that is goal 6 of the Laudato Si action program. And finally, seek partnership. Now, I wouldn't like you to read that, and I think we are taking some time. It is to team up with others. You know, when we are doing this, we are not owing, Pope is not only on the church, but men and women of goodwill. So people outside the church, everybody. I just like the way, and the beautiful presentation by the Assistant Secretary General, exploring how our liturgical celebrations actually affect the environment, for which we must be ambassadors of the environment. Now, the goals, or the universal goals provided by Pope Francis, which are universal in nature. The first one is respond to the cry of the earth. And what it means by that simply, it is a call for all of us to protect the environment for well-being of all. Not only you, not only me, not those who are exploiting it to get money for themselves, but for all of us. You see, you think they are the only one making money. You're also making money from the environment. Are we not making money? The coalition boss, where do they get the money from? It's not from the environment. The coalition boss we carry tightly, and we don't want anybody to open it. And we should pretend as the president of the diocese and the parish finance committees. All those, they are from the environment. The affordables that we get, where do they come from? From heaven, not from environment. So all that we do, it is environment. Church or outside the church, we are in the environment. So response of the cry of the poor, and that is a call to defend human life, and in all its forms, all forms of life on earth. And the third one is ecological economics. You know, who listened to the presentation by Cardinal recently at UPSA? Who listened to that? Cardinal Texan. Who listened to that? Oh, you are blessed. You are blessed. Who listened to that? Please look for that. You can Google. Just go to the Google, type the presentation of Cardinal Texan at UPSA. It will come. I'm sure the video recorded. It will come. You listen to it. You open your mouth and flies will be entering. You will not know that even you have flies in your. That was a brilliant presentation. Look for it and read. In fact, he says that when doing, and that is what affects me because I'm also a political economist. When you are looking for money to grow your organization, to grow the nation, do also what he calls civil economics. Civil economics. So it's not only about money. So you have to mine, you have to cut down trees, the cocoa we send out, pull down things. Just because of money, you monetize all our actions. I said, think about the people, the poor people too, the civil economics, the concern for the citizens. Adoption of sustainable lifestyles. You know, many of us, it's not very much here because we are not in affluent society as such. But a few of us are good to go. Is that not it? We eat and throw the things over our fence walls, and then the other children who have not or they have not run for the pieces, like dogs. We treat them like dogs. You know, many people live very high standard way of life, to the detriment of the environment. So it is just a call of us to be moderate in whatever we do. You see, some people When you go to your rooms now, some of the rooms, you leave the fans working. Is that not it? The lights are on. The lights are on. And then the fans are working. The air conditioning is working. Yet we are out in the market or somewhere. You see? So let's be modern. You need the lights. If you don't need the light, put it off. You see, go to your tele. Your tele, the light is on now. Yet it's not working. You are not there. You are not listening to anything. So let us just be conscious about how we use this kind of resources. Now, ecological education. It is a call to begin to rethink and redesign our curriculum for in our education and in politics, how we do things. I don't think we have much to do about environment in curriculum. Do we have that? I don't think so. Even the liturgy, we keep silent over. When Father was just talking, I just like it. Me, anytime I'm commingling the water and then the wine, I say it loudly. If I say it to everybody, and even if they are singing, I stop them. But the mystery of this water and wine, when we come to share in the divinity of Christ, who humbled himself to share in our humanity. Isn't it also beautiful? A beautiful prayer. Blessed are you, Lord, God of all creation. And how do you say it? By Father, say it for me. Blessed are you, Lord. Through your goodness, we have received this bread, which we offer you, fruit of the earth, and the work of human hands. It will become for us. Oh, what a beautiful thing. But we say it silently and quickly, because we want to enjoy the music. Father, sorry, you are here. The choir is, let them sing. And if you don't hear that, you see, you don't hear that. So ecological spirituality, and that is our focus for today. So we have to rediscover the beauty of nature with change of hearts and mind. That is why the Ecological Convention, the Assistant Secretary General has been talking about. It's a change of hearts and mind. Are we not sorry about what we are doing to the environment? Are we not sorry? So let us have a change of mind and heart. Then community engagement, participation, action. So we are calling on all people, everybody, to support the environment. So who can identify the one in the skull cap, and then the Episcopal cassock, and then beautiful sandals, and a very nice who is that? Bishop Anche, the Bishop of Damongo Diocese. So that's why planting what? Tree. I don't know what type of tree is that. I'll ask him later. But he's planting tree. So you ask me what is being done at the church as we are seated here. Many things are going on which we do not know. And now the 1 million trees project which the Ghana Catholic Bishops Conference is carrying on is live and colored, and it will continue for some years. And you know of the Arbor Week. And in schools, this is mainly celebrated by schools, and then the school children go about planting trees and all that, and the people as well. And then we're doing collection of plastic waste. And there's a plant at the north, in Tamale, and also in Accra, and coordinated by the church, and we collect plastic waste. You see that our rubber and our water bottles, sachet, bags, empty bags, we throw in the environment. Now we want to monetize that. So we collect that and give to organization. We make some money. And the youth are doing very well in this. And also the electronic waste, the computers, the printers, the old ones that we are just dumping around. We collect them and then send them to a factory, and then they are processed. And then the advocacy, what we are doing now, talking to people. And on the 16th of March this year, we launched the Ecological Spirituality, this project in Accra. And we invited all stakeholders across the country to come there. And we had a beautiful forum on that day. And that day we have a beautiful presentation promoter, Archbishop Gabriel Pamambako was also there to grace the occasion. Now I want somebody to read this to me. This is just my reflection on the ecological spirituality, which are picked from the cyclical encyclical Laudato Si. So, or do I read that to you? Ecological conversion is not simply environmental. Pope Francis stresses that everything is interconnected, and we heard that also from the Assistant Secretary General's presentation. It is Laudato Si, number 138. And that a true ecological approach always becomes a social approach. And it must integrate questions of justice in debates on environment, so as to hear both the cry of the earth and the cry of the poor. Number 49. This sense of interconnectedness, this integral ecology, 137 number, requires that we see ourselves as part of creation with obligation to respond to the one complex crisis, which is both social and environmental. That we also dialogue, especially with indigenous communities, everybody, and be in solidarity with future generation, the concern of all of us, and the Assistant Secretary General's presentation. So the Pope has given a common metaphor for this kind of thing, and he calls it a conversion which is a journey, and it's a spiritual journey, and that journey is change of mind and heart. Change of mind and heart. So I deduce 3 important things from this reflection I'm making. So what does eco-spirituality mean to us here gathered? That it is social and environmental. So we have to mobilize ourselves and work and towards protecting the environment. And it's interconnectedness. We have to work together. It's not only one person, it's not only one organization, it's not one church, one diocese, one bishop. No. And I symbolize the environment with this thing. I don't know whether they are women or girls, and also an animal and tree over there. And that is the social. So you see the girls there, or the boys there, or the priest there, or the catechist there, and then you see the animal, and then you see the tree. The interconnectedness, we are working together, so we all join hands together. And then the change of heart and mind, and these are the symbols of rebirth and renewal, a change of heart and mind. So these are the symbols which represent or depict change of mind and heart. Now the project itself, for which we are gathered here, goes 6 from page 11, 12, and 13 of the booklet. That is where we are now. What do we mean? The goal we set is to promote a culture of pastoral planning by the local church in Ghana, where it's inspired by the spirit of the Laudato Si. In other words, whatever we do, it should reflect a thinking, a greater awareness of the environment. So our objective is to enhance liturgical celebrations of sacrament and sacramental in respect of the environment. That is the objective one for which we are here. So we have 4 other things that we'll be doing in the course of the year for different groups. But your group is the first one. The second one is we'll be training some children, students in morals and values of a notion of sin, and also to enhance conscious formation and discernment through catechesis, and also to relate stewardship, labor, work, and prayer towards changing perception and influencing attitudes on the environment. So these trainings will be undertaken in the course of the year. What do we expect that after all this training, what do we expect to see? So we expect to see increased trust and confidence in the practice of faith, and that those who learn the skills of gospel-based formation of conscience in personal and social areas are playing student leadership roles as role models, and thus so that our various prayer forms that are taught and creatively utilized, including our personal prayer, shared prayer, community prayer, and others, should reflect positive attitudes and lifestyle of the people on the environment. And that has been one of the emphasis of the Assistant Secretary General's presentation this morning, as reflected also in Father Christopher's sermon this morning, his reflection this morning. And so that the skills and knowledge that we have acquired are helping the Ghana Bishops' Conference to have a systematic pastoral planning. So so that whatever we do will reflect from the national level to the parish level and community level. So what are the indicators? Now look into your book. Look into your action and your Laudato Si action plan. Liturgical celebrations. Now we are going to measure you by what you are here for. In fact, you are now going to work. You are going to work. We'll teach you how to work. And and this is what goal 6.1. Do you see it in your book? Page 11, right? Is it 11? 11. So this is what we shall be asking to know from you. And how you are going to do that, that will be the practical work you'll be doing in the afternoon. So we want to know the number of, so in terms of liturgical celebrations, this is what we want to find out from you. Are they going on in your diocese or parishes? Number of ongoing formations on liturgical celebration for clergy, religious, and laity. I know that one is taking place all the time. Is that not it? Is that not it? So we want to know the number of bishops that receive periodical updates on the liturgy. So you don't come and sit here as the Assistant Secretary General has said. You don't do these beautiful presentations. This is what you are asked to do, and go back and you don't even report to the bishop. You don't even tell the one who sent you here. You keep it. You don't even say anything about it. Do you see that? But for us, as once I am in charge of this, you are going to work. The committee will make you work, and you really work. Yes, you really, because we'll create a platform for you. You cannot run away. You are there. And so when you are not talking, I'll call Father Sorry. We are not hearing you. What is happening? We are not hearing you. We want to hear you. What is happening, ho? So we want to hear. And Father Jordan will be doing that. And he's very good at that. You know how to tax people. Then you want to the frequency of training of liturgical commissions in your diocese. Some commissions do not meet. After the national, you come, they spend money on you, you go back and sit down. You go back and sit down. Then you are looking to the face of your bishop. Who says that is the bishop who has to do it? Why does he place you there? He wants you to work and give him a feedback. You have to take the lead and not him taking the lead. But if you allow the bishop to take the lead, or wear the cap and go to a pastoral, you go to house station. Do you think he has time for you? So we have to work. So number of priests who are respecting rubrics while encouraging meaningful liturgical celebrations. Many of our priests, we want to be adding things to the liturgy. When we finish the collect, the opening prayer, we want to add, and so the one who has asked the mass intention today, because he has offered you 100,000 or 20,000 or 10,000, you want to add him to the collect. Who says that you should do that? What is the intention for the mass? It has already been said, and you are celebrating the mass. We want to add something to it. Don't add anything. Everything that is there, it is there. 2,000 years of reflection. You think it's an easy thing? You think it's an easy thing? That your small head is going to add something that will make something different or bend the heart of God? Nothing. Nothing will do that. So don't be adding those people, especially the new ones. Who want to go Pentecostal. And Lord, we thank you. After saying the quality, Lord, we thank you for so a bald-headed man who has offered who has offered so much for the growth of the church. You think that's my man? That man is the only one growing the church. The church is being grown by many people. And so we don't add anything to it. For me, I hate people when I attend mass and then you see priests adding words to what is well composed. It pains me, and I want to get up from the church because it pains me so much. This beautiful prayer, then you are adding, and so Lord, we thank you, and so Lord, we thank you for what? You see? Lord, let's stop doing those things. So I think there's a commission, the liturgy commission is going around doing that now. They are writing the aberrations in the liturgy, and very soon it will be published to all of us. And then if you go against that, we shall whip you. We are there. We will come to you first. The number of children learning catechism and Sunday services who are educated on honesty, integrity, kindness, and perseverance of diocese of dioceses that make a conscious effort in funding children's conscience and character formation. We don't do this much. That is why we are complaining that it's one of the reasons. We don't emphasize that. I don't know the number of priests who go for catechism classes. Now we don't go. No, I'm saying this before your catechists, because the catechists know that they are the ones who take the classes. Do they come? How many? Who is your parish priest? How many times does he come to your catechisms? How many times? You are afraid of your man because he's here. You are afraid of him. So you will not say it. You see, when you go outside, either America or Europe, if you give a pen to a small girl, and the small girl has one pen already, she will tell you that, oh, it's enough. But for us, we'll collect for our auntie, collect for our mother, collect for even your mother has never been to class, but you collect in your name. You see what? We are all the time greedy. And so we don't have that conscience of integrity. Integrity is to live as if somebody is watching you. When there's nobody around, how do you live your life? They put money there. From the government, you're a parish priest, and they put the money there. You have to say something. Will you bypass the money? Father, don't watch me. I'm talking truth. It's happening to many of us. So we turn the pulpit into politics, partisan politics. Don't do that, too. Now, 6.3, also in your book, I think page 12, sacraments. So we shall be measuring what you are doing through frequency in teaching about sacramentals and their effects. You know, when I celebrate weekend masses, a weekend apostolate at Immaculate Conception Catholic Church in Accra, Akwetima. And I just love the parishioners. After church, you have to hold your hand like this. You know what I mean by that? You have to hold your hand will be tied. They'll bring scapula, rosaries, and all kinds of things. Water, salt, some grasses. And you continue blessing. They believe that these are sacramentals that work. The Spirit of God are in them. And the Spirit of God is in them. And they work. You see, if you don't do that, they go to the diviners. Those diviners who have tend to be pastors today. And then they turn around, and they blow something to the air, and they do something, and they say, go and use it. It will work. But I continue asking them, how many of you will tell your faithful, take this water, and he comes to tell you a problem. And he's asking you or inviting you to pray for her or for him. And how do you say that? And many of us, we rationalize it. We don't, don't worry. That dream, it will not do anything. I'm not saying you turn them into something. But encourage them by praying them, giving them some prayers, either prayer to Saint Raphael or Saint Michael, the Archangel, or some prayer or Bible quotation or Psalms that you regularly monitor them. You call them from time to time. The person has come to you for help. How do you monitor the person? It's a way of teaching the person to pray and have dominion. You see, when God has created everything, he said we should have what? Dominion. So these principalities, because of Spirit of God in us, you should teach your people to have dominion. Public liturgical celebration. Do people come and just sit like this? Are they understanding? Are they catechized enough to understand the mass, to understand the liturgical celebration? And they come, they are just sitting like this. They don't sing, they don't say the prayers. So we'll find out how lively you have been doing this. Then percentage of priests, religious and lay leaders who participate in the spiritual retreats each year. Number of bishops who create feedback mechanism for their subjects on moral issues. We'll find out all that. Number of priests who have perpetrated abuse issues and need to face diocesan regulations. This is happening in some dioceses. I know of my diocese is happening. So bishop will put the searchlight there. A committee to investigate those things. All that. So application of the church's social teaching in personal, professional, and cultural and social. We shall be asking you how all those things are going. Then the pastoral plans. Number of dioceses with documented integrated pastoral plans you let us know. Frequency of review and replanning of Ghana Catholic Bishops Conference National Pastoral Agenda. You give us some ideas. And number and diversity of participation of stakeholders. We'll find out all that from you. Now, this is your task. This one, just take your notepad. You can draw and copy it. In the afternoon when you come, we'll flag it again for you. We'll flash it for you before you start your work. Now, when you look at the page 11, 12, and 13, eco-spirituality, change of mind and heart, we want to do something new. Now, there are various action areas. We have catechesis, liturgical celebration, sacrament and sacramental. These are the action areas. So you're right, action area, liturgical celebration. I've just done something hypothetical to teach you how we are going to do it. Now, you have the indicator. Indicators are in the book already. They are there. So you pick one. If we are dealing with liturgical celebration, so you pick one. I just pick one of them. So I said number of bishops that receive periodical updates on the liturgy. You saw it in the previous slide. Then you go to activity. What are you going to do to make sure that number of bishops, that your bishop receive periodical updates on the liturgy? How do you do it? Do you do it monthly? Do you do it quarterly? Do you do it 6 months, half yearly, or once a year? Then who is responsible? In other words, it's the one responsible is not necessarily the one who is taking the action, but the one who ensures that the work is done. Do you see that? Do you understand that? So you are working with the commissioners, the assistant commission, the catechists. So who do you ask the youth to do this for you on your behalf and all that? So you put it that the activities could be many. Under one indicator, you can have so many activities. So I just say provide quarterly reports to Bishop's office. Then I say who is responsible? The assistant liturgist or coordinator. And then the time frame, maybe we do it first week of every last month of the quarter. So for instance, January, February, March. So it will be first week of March in the first quarter. The second quarter will be in June. The third quarter will be in September. And then the last quarter will be in December. Do you see that? So that is the information we give to the bishop. So in the afternoon, you'll be guided by the executive secretary for pastoral ministry and evangelization and director of religious education and catechetics and the executive secretary of social communications. They will assist you to do this properly, because this is what you choose a chairperson or whatever. So we will meet in two groups, all the catechists together, all the priests together. So you will do this and give us a feedback at the plenary. Now, based on what you are going to give us, that is how we are going to monitor whatever you are doing in your dioceses. So when we will look at what you have presented, because you are come from dioceses, but you are going to work in a group. So we will assume that what one group is doing applies in many dimensions to all the dioceses, and then for which you will be monitored. And so that is how, this is the reporting template. And as I said, the mechanism will be virtual platform. We'll create a virtual platform and all of you will be on it. All of you who are gathered here. So provide your WhatsApp numbers. If you have not registered with your WhatsApp number, make sure that your WhatsApp number is registered. In the event that you are not on WhatsApp, indicate it. And we know how to get the information to you as well. Okay? So thank you very much. And then we thank you all and for listening, and God bless you. If you have any concern, just raise it and we'll listen to it.
So shall we appreciate Father Terence once more? Thank you, Father Terence. it's always good to listen to you because you know how to captivate your audience, and your tongue is always sweeter than honey. Anyway, as I said, we have some time now. Whatever you have in a form of question or contribution in reference to what Father Charles did and what Father Terence has also done. All that Father Terence did is to break down for us to the lowest level to understanding what we are all going to be doing from today after we have participated in this seminar. So far as the Laudato Si action plan of the Bishops' Conference is concerned, we are all key stakeholders, and so let us attach that importance of what we are here to do. We will now take your contributions and your questions as we bring this first part to an end. Have a short break and then we'll go for lunch. Father Charles has brought the books he spoke about, so when we are on break, you can contact him and get your copy. Thank you.
I have 4 things to talk about. In the first place, what we are doing here, I don't want to say it's important. In fact, importance is an understatement. My point is, as catechists, how can this one go down to every catechist so that we understand this and teach our people? Because every catechist has quite a number of people that they work with. They teach them the liturgy and what have you. How can this be possible? How can every catechist in the country get this and teach his or her people? Is it the bishop who should ensure this, or our director of catechists? Because we know our brothers and sisters catechists, if it's coming from a higher authority, they respect it. But a colleague catechist, sometimes they just listen to it, they don't mind. So how can we make sure that every catechist is applying this in the liturgy? That is 1. 2. May I understand the Laudato Si? The Laudato Si. I don't know the exact meaning of that. If you can help me with that. And when Father, the last speaker, he made mention of something. Priests who do not respect the rubrics. That's very, very important. I have one of the priests in my diocese, and the information I've been getting from one of the members, not one, that always, sometimes when he's celebrating Mass, by the time he finishes preaching, he might sing about 10 to 7 songs at every 3 minutes. He will sing a certain song at every 3 minutes. Sometimes it gets into secular music and all those things. And 2, what he's been doing is, when he's soliciting for funds, maybe money, then he tells the lay faithful, come and place it on the altar. And it pisses me off, because I am a Catholic right from infancy. I haven't heard of this before. And we know the importance of the altar. So if a priest is inviting people to come and put money onto the altar just to deceive them, that's what I would say. Just to deceive them. And it's a young priest. So I have been telling people that these young priests, some of them are disturbing this church. Oh yes, most of them are disturbing the church. Some of the young priests. And I don't know what the other authorities are doing to some of these priests. So when Father made mention of the rubrics and you don't have to do this during Mass, it struck me. This is why I want to talk about this issue too. And last one, he also made mention of catechists, we are important and this. I want to ask, why is it that we are not using the liturgical colours? Meanwhile, Mass servers are using the liturgical colours. And I want to champion this cause because it's very important. It is the only respect the church can give to us. Because we are not using liturgical colours. When it is green, we are always in white. Even when it is red, we are always in white. Passion Sunday, instead of red, we are in white. So what is the church doing to honor the catechists? I end here with my question.
All right, Dennis. No, you go. Para Dennis, you can ask your question.
Thank you very much. I want to talk about the tree planting exercise and how it can benefit us more in the liturgy. and this is a recommendation I am making. Instead of going about planting trees, I am very worried. The recent hike in price of wine that we even used to celebrate the Mass, the bread we used to celebrate the Mass, see an increment in the prices every day. What is used to produce the wine? From what do we get the bread? Is that an ecological concern for Ghana or Africa? Some of us had the impression that these things are foreign and cannot be cultivated in Ghana. For example, the grape from which we get the wine. Is it true? In the wake of technology today, where everything is surviving elsewhere, where we hear China producing cocoa and the rest, can we champion this, make it a diocesan project, or even a parish project, or give it to a group in the church, that you cultivate this size of land with grapefruits, so that we don't pay so much for these things, instead of just planting the acacia and the rest, which will not directly benefit us in the liturgy. This is a very passionate point I am making, and I'll be very happy if our bishops take this up, and then some of us are very ready to even assist in terms of coordinating if the project should come to see the light of day. Then the second one about the aberrations that we are witnessing. This one too is just a contribution. I don't think that it is just the young priests. When you started talking and you said you have one priest in your diocese, I whispered to my brother, you are lucky. Because in some other dioceses, we have many priests who are found wanting in this regard. You see people, and I am a very young priest, I am yet to be 5 in July. People who are older than me in the ministry, oh, this is what we should do. And they tell you, does it mean what they have been doing for all the years are wrong, God does not accept their prayers? Even if you tell somebody to wear just the herb to celebrate the Mass, it's a tag of peace. So it cuts across. That is the impression I want to correct. It cuts across. The elderly, the young, we are all victims of this. And the earlier we accept this responsibility, that just as I wanted to speak just as the juju man will not just do anything in his shrine. You see, I do this analogy, and I think even those we see on the other sphere of religion, they are respecting their rules more than us. And we are trivializing and rationalizing things every day. It's unfortunate. It cuts across, and we have a lot of work to do. Father said it, we can't eradicate it, but we can play our roles. Let's keep saying it. At least 1 out of 1,000 will listen. Thank you very much.
Thank you. So we'll respond to some of the questions asked, then we will take the other sets of questions. Father Terence, you can start as Father Charles comes back. It will be good you use the mic for the sake of the camera.
I think all of us can help in answering some of these concerns. I call them concerns and not questions for us, for somebody to answer as if I am the one who has all the answers. No. It is a concern for all of us to reflect upon. Cultivation of plants that produce wine and bread, is that what it? Okay. That I will just say is a good idea, very good idea. As you had already indicated, whether or not the vine will grow here or parts of the country, I do not know. So we have to give that to a kind of research work to explore and know we'll share this with the Bishops' Conference so that we begin to think. Will that be possible? Can it be possible in Ghana? How do we do it so that we can have vessels to ourselves? Not only growing the vine, which means that when we grow the vine, we must process it. So we should have some industry that will be able to process this into wine. So I don't know whether we have any wine industry in Ghana. No, we only say we import and sell and enjoy, and I take our people along. But water wine. Okay, yes, there is wine industry somewhere in the Volta region. Yes, there's a Volta wine. Yes. Yeah, so there are pockets of the wine industries around. So we will probably explore through them as to know whether this will be possible in Ghana. We shall explore that. Instead of answering, I only say that we take this up and then we'll share with the bishop chairman responsible for liturgy. I think that is where we can filter this through, and then they begin to think about this. And of course, the head of department for pastoral ministry and evangelization, under whose ambit this commission works, is also listening. Father Gabriel, so we'll take note of that. The second one, whether the catechist should also be changing we change the chasubles according to the liturgical seasons. Whether or not we should do that. I think Father Akoto wants to say something about that first.
We have discussed this on a national level, but the problem is when you take the decision on the national level and every diocese is autonomous, it is up to the diocese to implement it. So if you have such problem, see your director and bishop and they will implement it. Because we have discussed it. Father Tadia is here, right?
So in the life, do you people agree?
Yeah, we agreed.
Who have dresses according to the liturgical seasons?
Not the dress, but yeah.
Okay, the subject.
Yeah, okay. That's what we discussed.
Okay. Okay, the head of the department also wants to contribute to.
If they should change the colors, what about the choristers? I'm only setting you to think. Then we are going to change colors for all those who play major role during Mass. But you should have in mind that the 5 groups that play a major role, the priests, the night ladies of the altar, the ushers, the choir, and the lectors, these play major roles during Mass. So they are identified by the uniform they put on. But when it comes to those who sit directly in the sanctuary, they try to exhibit. So things in the sanctuary are the things that we monitor with the colors. So that's a simple clue. Things within the sanctuary, these are the things that exhibit the difference in the colors for us to know the season in which we are. But not all those who put on uniform over there. Even that of the catechist, I have a problem about that. We put on our uniform because we are playing a role. So catechists that put on your surplice and the rest during Sunday Mass, which role do you play? So it means that this must be put on when I'm teaching catechism. So we have to look at that very well. And even those who help the priest and right, ministers of Holy Communion, you go to some parishes, they'll wait. When it's time for communion to be distributed, they go and dress. After that, they go and move the dress. You wait from beginning to the end. So there are a lot of things when it comes to liturgical aberrations, what we are talking about, which we are looking at to make sure that we solve it. Some of the issues will say, well, your diocese. But others, it doesn't go that way. Because if the same Catholic Church, despite the fact that dioceses are autonomous, you go to one diocese and the catechists are using the liturgical calendar in the uniform, others don't use it. It creates some kind of confusion. Matters of faith, the church will not differ. When it comes to such matters, the church could in terms of dioceses. But let's also look at uniformity and the impression it creates when we are talking about these things.
Some of us the difference between the practice role and the priest is just small because during the Holy Week, almost all the things the priest do. some of the apart from those who work with the priest, our station that we do all these things. Be it imposition of ashes on the forehead, the catechist, we do it. Washing of feet, we do it. So compare the two. We cannot be compared with the prayer and what we are talking about. Because it's almost like the priest. That's what I'm talking about. It's not those who work in main stations with the priest who do not do anything. I'm talking about those of us who perform services, liturgy, apart from maybe sacraments, like weddings and all those things. Even funerals, we always do funerals. So that's what I'm talking about.
No, the first correction is that the catechists are not almost like the priest.
I know.
So that, but you use the word. If you know, then don't use that word. And the next issue is that you say you want to be a catechist. You want to help the church carry out its missionary activity, our mission. And in every society there is a head. It is that head who will tell you that go further. But we shouldn't tell the person that because you are playing this role, we want to go to this extent. Once we do that, it means our direction of thinking is going wayward. You want to help, which is excellent. And we appreciate the role of catechists. Without you, we cannot carry the work alone. And without us too, we cannot celebrate the Mass. So the left back the right, and vice versa. But it behooves on us, when there is a leader, for that leader who authorized our roles wherever we are with our good intention to tell us move to this stage or go this stage. We shouldn't fight for it.
Well, this concern will not end there. The name again. Michael. Not okay. The concern will end here. Will not end here. The discussion around it will not end here, because they are the ones who meet very often to discuss and think about liturgical celebrations and all that to go along with. It will be taken up again at their meetings, and then we'll see the possibility and the way forward. Okay, so don't be discouraged. We are two friends who have joined us, but we never allowed them to introduce themselves to us. We'll do that quickly before we continue.
We may do that just before step one, because let's respond to the question.
Okay.
He asked, for instance, about Laudato Si. I've just put it out there.
Okay, so do you see the Laudato Si? That's the meaning. You see, in every encyclical that is promulgated, the first few words, either the first two or the first three words, are translated into Latin, and that is the name given to the document. So these are the first two words of the document. And so these are the first few words. So praise to God, praise to you, my Lord. So if you see the Laudato Si itself, you read the first few words. That is what is used usually. Please read that to them so that they know.
Laudato Si, Signore.
Listen, please.
Laudato Si means Signore. That is that's why praise be to you, my Lord.
You see, so that's the first few words of the document. Usually that is translated and given to the document as a name. So we have Fratelli Tutti. It's one of the encyclical. You know. So these are the first few words that will be translated into Latin or whatever and given to the document. So that's how documents. Amoris and all that. So the first few words are translated into Latin and then given to the document as its name. Father will respond to that. But let's come to rubrics. I think Father Seri's contribution is very great. It's not only the young priests, but it's also very old priests and middle-aged priests and the dying priests. So all of us are involved. You see, sometimes we allow ourselves so-called led by the Spirit. I don't know what kind of spirit anyway. The Holy Spirit has been with the church. But they kind of, you see, when you have how do I call it? Sentimentalism. And when the choirs are singing and you are throwing the turibo around the altar, and you have to taste the step and shake your bottles a little bit. And then the words accompany it. But please, let's keep strictly to the rubrics, and that will be very helpful to us. So, but the Liturgical Commission is doing something across the dioceses, and very soon that will be published and given to all of us, and we follow. They are doing the aberrations. They are doing that. I saw whole diocese has presented theirs already to the province, Accra province. I saw it. I saw the document, and so this will be collated and published so that we all see it. And those who are dancing or jumping and rolling, those stuff. So don't worry.
So the last one has to do with dissemination of information, like what you have said. And again, that is why we are here. So you are going back to coordinate your people and always make use of the one in charge of liturgy and presence in your diocese and also in line with your people. The moment you have the people who are there, they are the ones who always say that let's go by this. You are here as their representation. We are going back to report, and then let the action be taken by them.
Just to add a few things to what have already been said, when it comes to abuses in the liturgy, and that is always the right term. Sometimes it's nothing like liturgical abuses, because the word liturgical is used to qualify. So abuse can never be liturgical. So we always talk of abuses in the liturgy, not liturgical abuses. So please take note of that. When it comes to liturgical abuses, the document is always clear. Read Sacrosanctum Concilio number 26. It says that the celebration of the bishop is the preeminent celebration. So we talk of preeminence of bishop's celebration. Since he is the moderator and the regulator of the liturgy, the way he celebrates the liturgy is the norm in the diocese. And that is why bishops are always encouraged to train liturgists so that they will guide them. Sometimes you go to a place and the way the bishop celebrates the mass is also questionable. So if the way the bishop does it is the norm, then it means that the way he does it becomes the way the priests also have to do it. So our bishops themselves will have to do the right thing. Some of the bishops will even train liturgists and they will not use them. It's a fact. Because probably, as for the way of saying mass, I've been a bishop for how many years? Are you the one to teach me how to say mass? I remember one time, I was just, as MC, I was with my bishop, and then it was a funeral mass. So I said, we don't incense the casket. We don't incense the casket. I said, oh, Father, is that so? I said, yes. So at the beginning, and even because if you look at the rubrics, the first incensation is the crucifix, the altar and the crucifix. The second one is the gift. But people think that, since the corpse is also there, it's part of the gift. No. That is why you do that at the final commendation. Yes. So the way the bishop celebrates the mass becomes the norm. So if the bishop doesn't do it the right way, then it's always a challenge. So those of us here who are liturgists, please let us help our bishops. I remember the use of apps. We have said this over and over again. But some of our bishops say mass without apps. They put the cassock is an ordinary dress. It's an ordinary dress. Look at the document. Any document you take, liturgical document, the first liturgical garment it mentions is the arm. It doesn't mention the cassock. There's no mention of cassock anywhere. But bishops, priests wear the vestment even when there is arm. I remember we were at a program, the bishop said, it's too hot. Then he put off the arm. But you can remove the cassock and rather put on the arm. But so he preferred to put on the chasuble over the cassock. And somebody was asked, Father, is it right? I said, I don't know. I don't know. He's the chief shepherd of the diocese. He's the chief shepherd of the diocese. He's the moderator of the mysteries of Christ in his diocese. So he has a responsibility to ensure that the right thing is done. So if you are talking of abuses, let us first and foremost start it from the top. So that the way, since they have the preeminence in liturgical celebration, the way that they do it will guide us. Talking of vesture, for the documents always mentioned art for liturgical ministers. If I'm wrong, Father Techia will correct me. The documents will always mention art for liturgical ministers. That's the basic garment for ministers, be it altar servers, extraordinary ministers of Holy Communion, all those in ministry. The herb is the basic garment. But some places, cassock is allowed, cassock with a white surplice. And if you look at it traditionally, the cassock has always been red cassock with the white on it. It is recently that people are sewing all sorts of colors. But traditionally, it has always been the red cassock with a surplice on it. So to go and say, oh, catechists will want to wear colors according to the season, as somebody said, maybe the bishop of the diocese can regulate that since it's within his jurisdiction. So, but I think that one can also be discussed further. Coming to the charcoal, galamsey, and then churches under tree. In this book, there is one point I made, a practical point, that we can develop what we call nature building Eucharist. Nature building Eucharist. And what does it mean? We celebrate the liturgy about, say, tree planting, after which, after the Mass, all of us will go and then plant trees. So before we even do the tree planting, we have Mass to conscientize us toward nature keeping Eucharist, so that we prepare ourselves to see why we are going to do that. We value it, and then after that, when we have done it within the context of the Eucharist, I think when we are cutting it, it will always send us a signal that, oh, we did this within the context of the Eucharist, to stress the importance of the planting of trees. So let us be careful about the way we destroy it. I think that is one practical way. Then, as we have already said, we are not saying that we shouldn't cut the trees at all. Father said it. That's the source of livelihood. But they should do it in a prudent way. That is the term, moderation. Moderation is the term for everything. If you do things and you do it to the extreme, it becomes sinful. But you can always do it in a moderate way. As you plant and then you cut, you still do what? You plant more to replace it. But if you cut and you don't plant, definitely it will be in extinction, and there's no way you can celebrate your Mass under the tree. So we need to encourage that. Who is to inform the catechist? Father Donne has already said it, but I think Father Terence also mentioned it. As we have gathered there, when we go back, we need to meet our bishops and discuss some of these things, so that if there is a need for the bishop to call for a seminar for all catechists, then it is not coming from you. So when you have reported to the bishop, and the bishop sees the need that, oh, this thing will have to be done at the diocesan level, he will either instruct the director of catechesis in the diocese, or he will do it. It depends on what he wants to do. But if you report to a higher authority, to the bishop, I think the right thing will be done in that directive. So that is to that. And then another question. I don't know whether there's any other question that is not answered.
That's all. I think we are winding up now for lunch.
But how do you report to the bishop? Please, if we cannot sit the bishop down to talk to him, I would prefer when you go back this evening to your room, write 1-page report. 1 page is enough. Don't write too much. Write salient reports, summary of what you have. Present it to the bishop, because he will sit down in the night and read, and then he will call you. He will call you to ask you questions that will generate a lot of discussion. He will call you. Write 1-page report. 1 page, the only one. Don't write too much.
write and give it to him that, my Lord, this conference and so, or your, because this is their own document. We were there and we have done this, and then you tabulate the things, and then the concern that you are hearing from here, tabulate it, give it to him. He will call you for further discussion. Then you go there and say, okay, he will ask you, how do we do it? Then you suggest to him, and then you will do it. You see, they are busy, so that's the way you can catch them to do the things. But if you just maybe call on the phone or something, it just works. It just goes by, and it will not do anything. So write a report, present it. Whatever I sent you here, present a report to the person. Okay.
Now that I've been educated, I've been trained. Now, what's the timeline for me?
You are going to do that in your groups. You are going to do so. You suggest to me. You suggest to us how you do it, not me suggesting to you or the committee doing that for you. But you tell us how you do it. Okay? We will be on you to get the information. But how you do it, you have to tell us. All right? So the introduction of the new people, then we can break for lunch and go and rest and return here at 3. What is that? Who has the program? 3:30. So the afternoon will be for the fathers are lying behind. You see them there. So they'll help you to do serious work for which you tell us what you'll be doing when you get back. Thank you very much. So introduce yourself. Your name, the diocese, and what again?
The group you represent.
The group you represent. Other catechists or a priest in this.
My name is Joseph Akwesi Asante from Konongo Diocese, a catechist.
And I'm Jacob. Father Tade Adumako, Jacob, Director for Catechists for Konongo Diocese. You.
Yes, I'm Anthony Agbenezi, Keta Akati Diocese, a catechist.
There are some people who also came late.
Oh, sorry. You.
Father Louis Akwesi Ekwekosapon, Obuasi, representing the liturgist.
Father Godfrey Akwesi Usukononguma Diocese, representing the diocesan liturgist.
So, all of us who are arrived a bit late, you will see us and complete your registration. And those who haven't taken their folders yet will be given.
Yes, those who are representing some other person, like the diocesan liturgies or the catechist, please add your WhatsApp number and the WhatsApp number of the one who sent you. Okay? But you will be taking more of the action because you are a participant here today. Okay.
Yes. So we would like to thank all of you for your cooperation, for your tolerance. I would like in a very special way to thank our 2 main facilitators in the persons of Fathers Charles Boampong Safo Ataboampong is his name, and then Father Edwin Terence Kwame Ajima for all the input they have given us. I'm sure that at least all of us have learned something to guide the next step, and we would like to encourage all of you to still see yourself as active participants and key stakeholders. Be deeply involved in our attempt to make this program a success as you go back to your various dioceses. May I now? Yes. So those who have just arrived and will need their folders, as you go for the registration, you'll be given your folders. So just take it cool. I would like to ask Father Akoto Mensah to come and take the closing prayer and also bless the meal for us as we move. Don't worry, we are moving towards the hall. 12:30 is lunch. At the dining hall. Are you telling me the prayer here will not work? These liturgical police people, they are always deceiving us. But I go to this, I come. But I go to this, please come and take the closing prayer for us. Liturgical police people.
Oh, we should bless his day, right?
Father, pray down and bless them. Father, go ahead. Just pray for
us. They know the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit. So, God our Father, we thank you. You have guided us through our programs. We continue to pray and put ourselves at your disposal so at the end of our program, we'll be able to implement it well throughout all our dioceses. Bless us and the food we are going to take, that the nourishment we derive from it, we may use it to do your work. We ask this through Christ our Lord. Amen. The Lord be with you. May Almighty God bless you, the Father and the Son and the Holy Spirit.
Amen. Thank you. It's time for lunch. Let us all move to the dining hall for lunch. That's it.
Anopay dear Yedi Hong Komo Nayaka Hwasem Enyina ene se yesia na ye bo mass aforebo kese no a e kire se Christ kai Christ wuo na mani hunu ni wuo ene ni wusore ehintasem no a etwen adwen egina hia se ye bo achade anyame dia maye no eho ban ye bo abodie eho ban ekwan ya ye faso ne abodie edi nkita ho no esom no ekire yen se yanhwe enema ye de esom no eyie nema ye nyefiri asase no te se pano bobisa te se incense ayehye se ya mo abodie eho ban na yesai abodie a ebeduru baby no ebeye din amayen se yebetimi ahia na yaye esom ye hwekwan a ye fa so esai yensuo ekwan a ye nam galamsey so ene akwan ahodo so yasai ensuo a nimdifo ekire se yanhwe ye be kakra bi no se ye bebo sukura age se ye kransuo ena ye de abo asu ensuo so edi juma nwanwaso ewo Catholic yesom no emu ye de pete ye ho e de kai ye nasu bo ye de egu ye nso e de bo ye nasu ese nyame agya no oba no ne sonsum konkron no edimu sahanso ena ye de pano ene bobisa no a egina ho ema abodie nyina ye de emanyame se nyame nsra so na onane no ne ba no honam ene ni mogya se adwumadi a ye di se sofoma pano no so na woka nsra enkan awrade ewiase ne abodie nyina nyankopon ade wo twe adwen agina so nyina ene se pano no a egina ho ema ewiase nyina no eya akyede a efiri nyame ensem efiri nyame ho ena wode ahye nipa ensa odi ahye nipa nsa se yemfa emmo afode ema no enti esom no twe adwen egina so se obi a obeba som no ase bia no wo firi ho kwa e wo se wokọ na wo ne nkitahu a wo ne abodie ebedie no e wo se boa ema abodie etimi enya ensakraye fofora ebetimi akoso a ama bre biara yenya pano a efiri asase no emu yenya bobisa a efiri asase no na yetimi de abo masa forobo kese no empaye kese a soro no ewo e de hyenyame animonyam ni yesa kan ye bio ene se esom no etwen adwen egina so se abodi a nyame e de amaye no nipa nso wo dwumadie edi ewo mu eni sofo ma pan no so a woka bra waka se nhyira nka wo awurade wiase ne abɔdeɛ nyina nyankopɔn wada roma ne yɛnsa ka pan no a yɛtu ahyɛ wo nsɛe ɛfiri nipa ɛfiri abɔdeɛ mu no nipa de ne nsa ayɛ ɛno nti nipa wɔ dwumadie ɛwɔ abɔdeɛ nso emu ɛkyerɛ sɛ nea nyame de ama yɛn no wamfa ama yɛn sɛ yɛnsɛ no na mmom yɛmmoa sɛ de bɛyɛ a ɛbɛdi emu ebisa abɔdeɛ mfiti ase nyame bɔ adeɛ no wɔsi owie hu sɛ biribi a wɔyɛ biara ɛyɛ nyame hu sɛ deɛ wɔyɛ biara ɛyɛ nanso ne yɛbu nkɔmpɔn hwɛ yɛkyi a nneɛma bebree ɛna atekyema ɛwɔ abɔdeɛ emu yɛtwa yɛ kwayɛ ama baabi bebree hɔ a ayɛ asase pradaa yɛnsuo ɛnso so yɛde nnuro agugum yɛde galamsey ɛsɛe yɛnsuo ɛnyɛ no nko a ɛkwan a yɛfa so ne abɔdeɛ di nsawɔsoɔ no sɛ me no yɛbɛdi no korɛ de ama yɛn ho a yɛbɛgye atom sɛ yɛasɛe nyame n'abɔdeɛ nanso bere bi a yɛbɛba som catholic mass afɔrebɔ kɛseɛ no ase biara no ɛsom no ɛkyerɛ yɛn sɛ yɛwɔ dwumadie nwanwasoɔ sɛ yɛbɛhwɛ nyame abɔdeɛ ɛso yie akyɛdeɛ bi a nyame bɔyɛ a ɛyɛ na wɔka sɛ ɛyɛ wɔde ahyɛ yɛn nsa sɛ yɛnhwɛ so yie yɛnsiesie no yɛwɔ dwumadie nwanwasoɔ ɛwɔ mu ɛno nti deɛ ɛnɛ yɛn kasa kyerɛ yɛtwe adwene nyinaa gyina so ne sɛ si yɛba som no se a ɛsom no botaeɛ yɛ mmienu yɛhwɛ yɛ catholic yɛ krataa a ɛno ɛna ɛtwene yɛadwene gyina kwan yɛwɔ sɛ yɛfa so yɛ ɛsom no a yɛfrɛ no latin kasɛm sacrosanctum concilium deɛ ɛtɔ so kratafa ɛtɔ so nson no ɛtwe adwene gyina so sɛ ɛsom no wɔ botaeɛ mmienu deɛ di kan yɛfa so ɛhyɛ nyame animonyam yɛde n'aseɛ ma nyame sɛ wabɔ abɔdeɛ yɛde n'aseɛ ma nyame sɛ ɔnam ne ba Jesus Christ so agye yɛn nkwa yɛde n'aseɛ ma nyame sɛ ɔnam ne sunsum kronkron so ɛkɔ so ɛkanyan yɛn sɛ de bɛyɛ nneɛma pa ɛno akyi ɛsom no so te yɛn ho ɛma yɛadom a yɛbɛtumi de ayɛ nneɛma pa na yɛbɛtumi ayɛ saa nneɛma wei nyinaa agye sɛ yɛtwe adwene gyina so sɛ ɛsom a yɛyɛ no ɛne asase ɛwɔ nsawɔsodie ɛfiri sɛ nneɛma a yɛde yɛ som no nyinaa sɛ yɛnsuo a yɛde bɔ asuo sɛ yɛ paano ne nwan a paano ne bobisa a yɛde ɛyɛ ɛsom no ne nyinaa firi asase no emu incense a yɛhyeɛ ɛfiri asase emu egya a yɛhyeɛ yɛde gu turibo emu na yɛde incense gu so ne nyinaa so ɛfiri asase no emu nti sɛ yɛanhwɛ yɛ kwayɛ yɛanhwɛ yɛn nsase no yie na yɛammɔ yɛn nsase no ho ban na yɛnum suo ne yɛtoto plastic container no ɛto ɛtwene a ɛbɛwura asase no mu ɛntumi ɛnane ɛbɛda asase no mu akɔpem sɛ ewiase ɛbɛsɛe yɛnam saa yɛ so na yɛsɛe abɔdeɛ nti ɛsom bere bi ɛbɛba som n'ase bia no ɛtwe adwene gyina so sɛ de nyame de ama yɛn no yɛnhwɛ so yie yɛmmɔ ho ban na yɛnsiesie no yie sɛ de bɛyɛ a nkyirima nso ebetumi aba na ɔmo abenya ɛso mfasoɔ ebetumi aboa ma nkyirima so atena aseɛ na ɔnom so enya biribi adie ɛno nti yɛbɛda mo ase ne yɛasrɛ mo sɛ bere bi a wobɛkɔ som ase biara no twe wadwen gyina hia sɛ yɛhwɛ nyame abɔdeɛ ɛso yie na yɛbɔ ɛho ban sɛdeɛ ɛbɛyɛ a sɛdeɛ mɛdi kanka no nkyirima nso ɛbɛba na wɔnom ɛba a sɛdeɛ ɛnɛ yɛtumi de nsuo ɛdi dwuma ɛwɔ asɔre mu yɛde nsuo pete yɛn so yɛde nsuo ɛbɔ yɛn so yɛde ɛpete yɛn so ka yɛn so bɔ ɛbɔ hyɛ no sɛdeɛ yɛde paano ɛne bobisa ɛyɛ ɛsom no saa nneɛma nyinaa bɛkɔ so atena so akɔ so atena hɔ sɛdeɛ ɛbɛyɛ a nkyirima nso bɛtumi aba na ɔmo ɛde abɛyɛ som no ɛde ahyɛ nyame animonyam na aboa ama nipa so ɛnya wɔn kra nkwagyeɛ.
Greetings to all listeners and those who are watching us and those who are listening to us. Catechists and priests who are in charge of the liturgy in the Catholic Church have been meeting here in Kumasi Samaritan Villa since yesterday to reflect on the call of the Ghana Catholic Bishops' Conference to be concerned and appreciate the damage that we have been causing the environment in which we live. Our beloved Father God give to our first parent this beautiful earth called garden, a garden of Eden. And that was presented to them, from which they derived their livelihood and joy and happiness. And this garden has been handed over to us from generation to generation until today. And we have also received this beautiful garden, which we call the earth. And yet, when you look around today, in Ghana especially, we are causing a lot of damages to this earth. The illegal mining, the throwing about indiscriminately of empty water bottles, sachet, empty sachet water, rubbers, all over. In many places you go in this country, you are not greeted by people, but most places you are greeted by filth and the outskirts of our communities. The damage we are causing to our water bodies, the damage we are causing to the beautiful trees, the damage we are causing to the environment in which we live. Pope Francis, since 2015, by the promulgation of his encyclical Laudato Si, a call to be concerned for our common home, our Mother Earth, he has been calling everybody, especially Catholics and men of goodwill, men and women of goodwill, to appreciate this beauty that we have inherited over the years, but for which now we are almost destroying. It is something that we need to appreciate. If we do not appreciate the damage, then we cannot do anything about it. For catechists and priests who have been meeting here, they are being encouraged, we are all being encouraged to teach, to live, and to practice how to care for this environment in which we live. We derive our livelihood from this environment. Our lives depend on this environment. Everything of ours here on earth depends on this environment. Yet, as a good mother, we do not return to this Mother Earth the beauty that it gives us. Rather, we indiscriminately are damaging this earth. We are only called to do one thing: to be concerned and to appreciate the damage and begin to do something about it if we have not already been doing it. The government is calling on all of us to plant 10 million trees every year. The Ghana Catholic Bishops' Conference is calling on all of us to plant 1 million trees every year. However, there are other things that the church is doing, especially the youth, engaging in collecting this rubbish from our environment, collecting old and unused computers, printers. We call them e-waste or electronic waste from the environment, so that these things are processed and recycled for our own use again. It is a call on all of us. Let us go and become good ambassadors, not only talking about it, but also doing something concretely in our communities
as individuals, as groups, as societies, and wherever we are. My beloved Catholics, my beloved men and women of goodwill, the youth, let us learn our lesson that we are handed over the beauty of nature. Let us also live it for the next generation, the same beautiful nature. That means we have to work out and identify what is going wrong with us so that we do something about it. We have been talking about ecological spirituality. In simple way, it means a change of hearts and minds so that our attitudes may reflect moderation in our lifestyle and in the way we handle these resources which are given to us by God. Pope Francis is calling on all of us. The Ghana Catholic Bishops' Conference is calling on all of us. And the catechists and the priests who have been gathering here since yesterday are calling on all of us. Let us begin something today and let us make it more beautiful. Remembering that what we have received is beautiful. Let us hand it on to the next generation in the same manner. May God bless all of you.